Hi everyone, welcome to Straight Talk with Faizul Ridzuan, a very famous personality in the scene of among all the investors and also property communities. Faizul Ridzuan, as all of you know, is a founder for Far Capital, and he is also a best-selling author and a very famous and popular speaker in the circuit for property investment. Welcome, Faizul.
Hey, thanks for having me, KK.
Okay, Faizul, we are heading for recession, and how will the economic landscape change in months to come?
Truth to be told, the recession that we are about to see is something that we have never seen before in this particular lifetime, right?
Yeah.
And this is a recession that is driven by no one's fault, but rather than the fact that we need to trigger the recession for survival. So that means, in order for us to survive as a species, we have to stay home and do nothing. Now, a couple of posters that are going around. For the first time, we can save the whole humanity by sitting at home watching Netflix. So to be honest, this is a recession.
Yes.
Which is no one's fault. It doesn't matter who is the prime minister or who is the finance minister, who is the president of the bloody world. Also, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
It's something which has happened. It's a black swan event. A lot of people have been completely caught by this. So, for example, Warren Buffett, for example, Berkshire share went from 330,000 just a couple of months ago to now 250,000 and below. So, can you imagine investing and losing 30%?
Wow.
Or what is the darling of investment community for the last 40, 50 years? You know, you see people like Ray Dalio, for example, one of the biggest hedge funds in the world, and as of today, he's looking at a 10 to 25% loss in majority of his fund. So to be honest, if the smartest people in the world couldn't have predicted this, no one could.
Yeah.
So like I said, how this will basically pan out. To be honest, there's so much uncertainty, and the length of the recession will very much depend on the monetary, fiscal, and stimulus policy adopted by the individual government, right? So therefore, we have adopted what I think is a plaster or band-aid policy today by our current government. I think they have done everything they could. As of now, we need a stronger armor against this particular disease, and therefore, I'm quite looking forward to the announcement that's going to come next week.
All right.
So then I think we have better clarity until when the recession will last. What will be the impact? As of today, like I said, it's just a guess.
Correct. Faizul, this time around, how will it be different from 2008 credit crisis or any other recessions that we have seen?
Okay, so for example, Malaysia doesn't have much of an impact in the 2008, 2009 simply because it was a credit crisis triggered by US subprime mortgage. And therefore, the whole US nearly go for bankruptcy, and it has basically triggered a recession globally because US and Europe were in recession. Therefore, because these people are our key trade partners, when they are in recession, we will feel the impact, right? So in a way, 2008, 2009 slowdown for Malaysia has got nothing to do with what we do in the country, but it's an external thing that basically came and impact Malaysia, right? So that's really it. This time around, like I said, it's a humanity crisis. It's got nothing to do with, is it China's fault or is it US fault? Not really. It's just there's a virus that we have never seen before. It's completely unprecedented. And therefore, it has forces us to behave in a way whereby we have never behaved in the last 50 years during this last modern times. So therefore, even for example, people are asking me, with our new government, are we going to be in bigger trouble? It doesn't matter who is in charge. Even Tone has basically came out on Bloomberg, I think either yesterday or 2 days ago, by saying this is going to be worse than 1997, 1998. It's worse than the 1986 financial crisis when he was a PM. He has no idea what to do yet. So if someone who has been there, done that, for 94 years and became prime minister twice, don't have a solution for us as of today, like I said, this is a job that no one wants to take at this hour. No one wants to become a prime minister of any country at this hour, to be honest.
At this critical hour. So COVID-19, how does it affect? COVID-19, how does it affect your overall business and the steps or measurements that you have undertaken to counter it so far?
So basically now we are, yeah, as you know, we do property investment. We are the largest buying group right now in Malaysia. We buy about 1.5 billion worth of property in the last 2 years. So that has certainly has got an impact because we do a lot of training, and now all of those training now, because of the mass gathering is banned, has been impacted. So now we are moving everything online. But now the fact that we can't even like do a video production, so therefore it impacts even that lah. So basically, I see there's a lot of jittery, right? I see there's a lot of jittery. People don't know they're going to still have jobs or not in the next 3 to 6 months. So I think there will be some form of impact towards the property market if the government doesn't take a very drastic action to protect the rakyat in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So for us, very simple. The answer is to move everything online, just like this interview that we are doing today. Zoom now is very, very popular. So therefore, like I said, for me, the business has continued. I'm working on something which I think I can help contribute to the country as well. So I can't say much about it for now. But you
Thank
and
you
I
in
both
advance.
so like I said, pray we all go through this well.
Yes. I hope can really go through your brilliant idea. I'll wait for you to share out. Yeah. So
I sure hope so.
Yeah. Faizul, so how will it impact our property market right now? I'm very sure there will be many repercussions along the way, failure to service the loan, or tenant not paying on time, or asking for discount, etc. and etc. So what is your take on that?
So my take on that, nothing will change unless one important thing change. And that number one most important thing is actually unemployment. Because if people still have jobs, they have salary to pay for rental, they have salary to pay for installments. And therefore, nothing will change much other than the fact that if your unit is vacant today, it's quite bad because people can't go out to go rent your unit. Agents are not going out, right? So that's that. But the impact towards that segment, I think, is very, very small. Unless we have like 10 properties and all untenanted today, and now you're looking for tenant because you got free time, then you are quite royally screwed, basically.
Cool.
But other than that, as long as people still have jobs, which is by far the most important thing that the government has to do now to make sure that unemployment remains low at below 4%, then the property market will continue to be okay. The rental price point, the subsidy price point will hold. The only thing that I see will really, really, really change, KK, in the next 6 months, 12 months here is that I feel there'll be a shortage of supply for primary market property. Because developers won't dare to launch any property in the next 6 months to 12 months, to be honest. So in a way, that also represents some form of opportunity, simply because if you pit a old property versus new property and you put the same rental value for both, most people will actually opt for the newer property. It kind of makes sense. New car versus old car, same price point. Who wants to buy old car, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's an advantage for people who buy new property, and combined with the fact that there's so much incentive as of today because developers are desperate, you can actually buy a bunch of property with no money at all. So of course the key thing here, number one, the property has got to be completed right? The crisis doesn't affect the completion of the property. And then number two, the moratorium, for example, of people cannot go out ends, maximum 3 months, right? So once that happened, then I think the short-term impact is there for the next 3 months. But I think after that, it will be business as usual if the virus is contained and people still keep their jobs. So the main thing here is that if unemployment remains low, most people is able to keep their job, then nothing will change much from a property market point of view, except for the fact that I suspect a lot of developers will be quite jittery and fearful to launch anything new this year.
Yes.
So that means the application of new property going to be launched in the next 6 months, 12 months will actually fall to potentially a 10-year low, or maybe even a 20-year low.
Yes.
Because like I said, this is an unprecedented crisis. I mean, even right before COVID-19, you and I both know developers are already scared to death. So today, I think it's like, they see their soul, leaving their body. Don't launch. So that's how I feel. And that's my prediction for the property market.
Yeah, Yeah, thanks for the prediction. Faisal, in your opinion, how will property industry change after this?
I think nothing much will change unless we see a drastic increase in unemployment, number one. Number two here is that, except for the fact that, like I said, newer supply for the next 6 months, 12 months will actually be quite little. Simply because there's just no confidence from the developer point of view to launch anything new. Right? So as long as people are able to keep their jobs, then I think in the medium to long term, I don't see much of an impact, right? So the only, I would say, change that I see is that companies will now be wondering, is there even a need to actually buy a big space office? Because there's one thing that this crisis has taught a lot of SMEs and companies, that, hey, actually people can be productive working from home, right? So therefore, number one, do I need to hire as many people? Number two here is that, can these people be working from home and still maintain the same level of productivity? Right? So I think commercial property will be impacted greatly by this. Do I think there's impact towards residential? Then the answer is no.
Okay. How would the banking system change during this time? With the availability of fund, how should investors react?
So again, the number one most important thing right now for the government point of view, and what the government should really focus and prioritize on, is of course, first is safety, making sure everyone stays alive. So that's why, guys stay at home. You either stay at home or stay in your graveyard, right? So you pick. Right? Number two here is that unemployment, right? Now, why do I say, I keep on repeating, employment is by far the most important indicator, because the moment unemployment goes up, what will happen next? NPL will also go up, non-performing loans. So when non-performing loan goes up, then naturally the banks will start tightening lending. If NPL remains low, then there's no change. If the NPL goes up because unemployment goes up, then you will see a series of tightening, whereby it's going to be more difficult to go and get a loan, any form of loan, not just property loan. And therefore, that will basically affect property values.
Rightly pointed out. So lastly, Faisal, what strategy should investors adopt at these trying times?
It depends at the level that you are operating as of today. I'm a little bit crazy, so what I'm going to share is my personal experience. It's not something I will recommend to everyone. So I'm just going to share my personal experience. So back in 2008, 2009, and when I was working within the banking and financial sector, it was doomsday scenario, because a lot of banks are shutting down and whatnot. So a lot of my senior bankers basically come and tell me, don't take any loan, don't buy any properties and whatnot. I was listening to that advice. I ended up buying 20 properties in that 2 years, right? My logic is actually fairly simple. If I pay to the bank 2,000, someone is willing to pay to me rental of 2002, 2005, or even 2000, then therefore to me that property is free, right? So I end up buying a lot of properties during that 2 years, simply because price points are reasonable during recession, during tough times like this. That's where, for example, you actually pick up a lot of very good bargains, right? What I didn't know back then, but I know now for sure as of today, is that during crisis, banks or central bank tends to drop interest rate, and normally when they tend to drop interest rate, so basically money becomes cheap. Our money becomes worthless. If you don't actually park it into an asset, your money will depreciate faster, right? So therefore, unknowingly for me at that point of time, it was lucky, right? I bought 20 properties. Interest rate become a lot cheaper, and when that happens, you see a property bull run in the next 5 to 6 years. And I became an automatic millionaire by luck, by accident, because I bought 20 already. So can you imagine, you buy something at 200,000, 3 years later it become 400,000. I own 20 of those. So you can calculate a couple of million, right? So my profit from flipping property in that 2 or 3 years was already 2 million, to the point that I have to pay LHDN additional tax of 500,000. Right? So again, every crisis, there's some form of opportunity. But of course, you don't make money if you don't buy the right property. So if you continue to buy the right property, crisis is basically an opportunity for you to actually make significant amount of money. Because when we had the crisis, I was 38, and thanks to we had a crisis, I get to buy a lot of cheap properties, and I become a millionaire. And 3, 4, 5 years later, I was able to keep my job, thanks to the proceeds that I got from my property.
Yes.
So crisis like this, whereby you have the largest form of opportunity, but this is of course for people who are prepared, right? Especially from a knowledge point of view, right?
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, if you are prepared from a knowledge point of view, then I think, like I said, there's a lot of money to be made in this particular coming crisis. But then again, like I said, there are going to be some winners, there are going to be some losers. The winners are going to be the one with the best equipment when it comes to knowledge and strategy, right? So therefore, as long as people buy with the right strategy, people buy things which is mass market, people buy things with multiple rental option, they buy below median. These are basically my 6 to 7 rules. As long as they do that, they're actually going to be quite safe, right? And combine the fact that interest rate will be cheaper in the next couple of months. So I see a very significant similarity between today and 2009. Like I said, I don't recommend it for everyone. I recommend it for people who are prepared, especially from a knowledge point of view.
Yes.
Hey, by the way, can I share about my free group? KK?
Sure. Go ahead, bro.
So I'm launching this free group whereby I'm educating property investors for free during this COVID-19 downtime. So like I said, you don't have to pay anything. It's free. I have launched the group last week.
How can they join?
It's called Faizul Ridzuan Private Group, bracket free. So got one free one, got paid one. So join the free one, right?
Okay.
So I do a bunch of videos. I talk about property market. I talk about opportunities. Within a week, we already have close to 3,000 members.
Okay.
So like I said, this community is free. For those who are watching this video, come over and join. I can probably forward the link shortly.
Okay, shares the link.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, Faizul, like what you say, crisis is opportunity, but we have to be prepared ourselves with the right knowledge before we jump into any decision making. It has been very fruitful. Thank you for your selfless sharing. It's a lot of insights we can digest on. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, KK. Yeah.